Welcome back to New Gameplay Today. I'm Leo Vader, here as always. With me is Dan Tack.
Why, hello there.
And from the West Coast, Imran Khan.
I made a new gameplay.
You made new gameplay and you made it today. What's this game called?
This game is Code Vein, which is the Souls-like action RPG from the God Eater team at Bandai Namco.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, the God Eater team.
Okay. It is, and you'll notice that it's very God Eater-like in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
And yet Souls-like as well?
It is also extremely Souls-like, to the point where whenever I bring it up, they have this very PR line of, "Oh, we're so honored to be mentioned in the same, sentence as Dark Souls."
Yeah, that's curious, since, the God Eater, for those who are not familiar, that's sort of a Monster Hunter-like.
Mm-hmm. And this game kind of has the same, God Eater is a very, a focus on AI partners and kind of consumption of the monsters. This game is very similar, but it focuses on vampires.
All right.
And are you a fan of both of those things, and are you a fan of what you played of this?
I liked vampires. I'm not sure I like this game that much.
Oh, interesting.
So, to begin with, this is me playing completely without audio. So if you'll see me get ambushed a bunch of times, that's the reason, because the sound is very important in this game.
Okay.
But, so you beat this, there's the guy with you, he's entirely an AI partner. That is not a human at all. It is a named character in the game that you cannot avoid getting.
Okay, so he's not optional. You get him.
Yeah. They liken it to RPG party members.
Okay, that's cool. And you can have more than one at a time, then?
I'm not sure. I've not seen one. This is the introductory level, so this is the beginning of the game. So the story starts with you coming into this area with a partner. I think his name is Oliver Chorus or something like that, and he gets wounded somehow, so he's staying behind. So you meet this guy about 5-10 minutes later, and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna help you. You can't attack him. You can't do anything you would normally do in a Souls game with NPCs. They're there to help you."
So this game has been, it was announced a long time ago and sort of went dark for a very long time.
Yeah.
Are we getting any closer to release here? Do you have any sense of that?
They did say it will be this year. They're not ready to announce a release date yet, but it was actually dated in September that it was supposed to come, and then I think it was July or August. They just said, "Okay, no, we're delaying it indefinitely."
Right, and that can be concerning. Not always, but certainly sometimes. So how did this feel to play? Is this polished? Is this ready to rock? What was the good, the bad, the ugly?
So control-wise, it feels like God Eater, like a more action-y kind of Monster Hunter style game. There's you can cancel out of a lot of stuff in this game, which is surprising for a Souls-like, but it gives it a more character action kind of feel. Polish-wise, I don't know that I would say it's particularly polished, especially for a game that's been delayed a year.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it later, but when you do certain animations, the game doesn't know what to do, so you will literally just pop out of existence and pop into the animation.
Okay.
And it's such a weird thing. It's like a thing games solved in the PS2 era, but this one didn't.
So we're calling it a Souls-like, which is certainly fair, but I'm wondering how are there boss souls? Are there bonfire level-ups? To what extent are we cribbing notes here?
They have different names for them, obviously. So the thing right there is the missile, which is the bonfire equivalent. The boss, or the soul stuff, is called haze. So it's the same thing of you die, you do a corpse run, you go get your lost haze, and come back for
haze?
it. Yeah, H-A-Z-E, the Ubisoft PS3 game.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
But it's not. I don't want to say it's not as impactful as Souls, but there's certain presentation stuff you'd expect from that, of oh, you grab your lost souls or haze or whatever, and the screen dims and you get that impactful sound.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have that. You just grab it and I didn't even realize I got it half the time or what it was supposed to be.
Did it live up to the clever, pretty world design that its inspirations are known for?
So I find the story idea interesting. The concept of the world has been taken over by vampires. You, as I'm not sure a human or also another vampire, have the ability here to drop your blood on certain trees that can produce blood of their own. So basically you're a farming tool. And they send you out to dungeons to create these trees that basically create human blood for vampires to eat.
Fertilizer.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting
So
concept.
not everyone knows you have this power, and there are only a certain number of people or vampires or whatever that can do it.
Okay.
So what what did you just do from a gameplay functionality perspective?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to understand, I think, is that stuff like that and the missiles expand the map. So there's that
Okay.
little mini map up there, and you can kind of see where you've been and where you're going. But when you grab the missile there, you can see the actual like paths light up.
Mm-hmm.
So the bigger tree is just a story conceit, but the other ones actually have like the mapping quality to them.
Gotcha.
And there's like just a level up thing. You don't choose your own souls.
Yep,
or
so,
choose your
so
own,
there's
like,
no stats, you just get a level.
Yes.
But I saw something else there that said acquire gifts. Is that sort of like talents?
So you see in the bottom right corner, there's skills. So you hold R2 and press the face button or whatever, and you'll be able to use a skill like attack up or defense up or things like that. And that was what I was talking about. Like you just sort of pop into the animation.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really bad to the point where I was like asking people at the demo event, like, "Hey, is this not finished? Like, is this getting fixed?" And
Something wrong
they
with my
kind of
eyes?
they kind of hemmed and hawed about it. I'm guessing it's a solution to another problem, so it's not a thing that's going to get fixed.
Right.
Huh.
But yeah, I hate that. I hate seeing that.
So you got a new weapon. Can we upgrade them? Can we change them? How's that work?
I believe you can upgrade them. There was not a like thing for it in the initial demo or this initial area, but I did find like upgrade materials for weapons. So
Okay.
there are things in the game that seem to indicate you'll be able to do stuff, but it kind of has the God Eater thing of between levels you go to like a prison or like a lobby area.
Right,
that
you've
you're
got
just
like
kinda
a hub to
Yeah.
do all your stuff. Okay.
But it's a very small area, so I don't know if it's going to expand in the future. Like God Eater also did expand, so I assume it will.
So since we're talking about God Eater, one of the best things to do in that game is to have your whole team just do all the work for you. Is that a possibility here, or can your teammate get knocked down like for good or something like that to force you to fight instead of using him as a dummy or even a damage dealer?
So every time I have seen the teammate die, it has been because I died first.
Okay.
And when that happens, then there's no like revive or anything. The teammate just like dies. It might have just been the same attack that kills
Sure.
both, but it's hard to say. When I've seen him fight the boss on his own, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes,
Yes.
he does a pretty good job of it. He mostly does distraction,
I know in
but
God Eater
like, I've
you
seen him
can
do some real damage.
you can tune up your team in God Eater to just wreck a boss like by themselves, and you just kind of hang back if you want to do that. So I'm wondering if that's carried over here. Interesting. Only because of the God Eater association.
Yeah, the game has no traditional multiplayer, like Dark Souls style multiplayer.
Right.
But there is like SOS quest, which from their description sounded like the way it works in Monster Hunter, of like you can request help for a certain area and somebody will just like pop in.
Oh, so
But I'm not
that's
sure if it's like asynchronous or like,
Huh.
at the same time.
Weird.
so that's sort of God Eater has different multiplayer functions as well as like raids. So that's interesting if they do any of that stuff here.
But like I'm kind of interested in like the post-apocalyptic art style of this game quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's bizarre. That's the best word I can come up with for it now. It doesn't seem like your swings have a whole lot of impact.
They don't like it. It does have that character action feel. It feels like you're swinging a sword in. It feels like you're swinging the Rebellion in Devil May Cry.
Okay.
It's just not quite as fast or as reactive.
Am I wrong for saying the combat looks really easy so far?
Oh.
It does in the first area seem
This
very
is
easy.
the tutorial area, right? So I'm hoping they don't throw the house at you here.
I will
Right.
say I died to the boss twice.
Good.
So
That's good.
It's not like super easy there. But it is very easy to take hits. And that was something I noticed. Like you only get 3 recoveries early on in the game.
Yes.
I'm sure that's upgradable at some point. But it's surprisingly easy to just run out of those. And also I use the defense and attack buffs whenever I get a chance.
Of course. So what first impressions on this?
It is a
Obviously,
game
this is
that like
early.
in terms of Souls-like, I mean there's a hierarchy of Souls-likes, I guess, and
Sure.
like I would probably put like Neo at the top of the not from software games.
Mhm.
This is probably not as good as that, but it is interesting. And then like if I got the opportunity to play more of it, I would probably definitely play more of it. It's just a question of like,
Ooh.
does this game have the long-term world building and level design that I kind of want from this genre?
Yeah.
Sure.
And we're going to show about 15 minutes here. How long did you get to play overall?
I played about an hour.
Okay.
It has a very surprisingly slow intro. which I'm not even positive to, because it's a entirely like abstracted tutorial that they kind of do in world. Is like, here's how you fire guns.
Right.
Like, oh well, since you have
they're
special
guns.
one, this is this, yeah. But then it's like goes from that to a cut. I would say maybe like 5-minute cutscene of just you and another character, kind of slow walking through a city, and I didn't like how like the pacing of that. So this is the guy that was like part of your team before and got wounded, and I think
Oliver Collins, the notorious enemy.
Kickstarter backer, I think.
So I guess there's the thing in the game thing in the world where people who get like blood poisoned just go crazy like this.
And he's got a very chonky weapon there. I love it.
Yeah, and he was using that when he was on your side, which is useful because he was taking out most of the enemies for me. But it also gave him a weird thing of like, we would walk to an area and I would like try to stealth.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So and he just killed them first. So it's like, okay, that's fine. This is where it actually gets. This is actually what I wanted from God Eater 3. God Eater 3 did not get hard fast enough. This game does do that. It feels like I'm actually fighting a monster that is difficult to fight.
Right. So since we're talking about God Eater, since it's extremely relevant in context here, guns are a huge part of that game. Are they also a big thing here? Like I know in God Eater, even if you're like not gun spec or whatever, there's like all kinds of combos and other cool things you can do with your gun as you swap.
So that's also a thing in this game. I had not equipped it because I just like swords better, but there's a bayonet that you can use to both melee attack and shoot like energy, I guess.
Okay, what just happened there? You died and you came back.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what that was. I think that's a weapon I got, or not weapon, an item I got.
Very good
item. They
item.
explain to me what that is.
All right.
But yeah, there's a bayonet that you can combine melee and energy blasts, but the energy you get from like God Eater from sucking from enemies, which you can do mid combo, which is a fairly cool thing to do, which is a bit more advanced than I was able to do. Yeah, that's the thing.
So it has like the concept of devour.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting. So this is like a combination Souls God Eater game.
Yeah, which
that sounds really good on paper.
I understand why they kind of shy off from the Souls comparison because they are doing their own thing, but like when you do the thing of you hit twice and you roll away, like that invokes a certain feeling of Souls games, and I kind of want them to go all the way with that versus just like, oh well, we're kind of there but not entirely there in polish.
Gotcha. What is that thing? Oh nope, that must be Souls. Sorry, not Souls. Chips or whatever. I answered my own question. Yeah, haze. Haze looks like four like objects together. Interesting. Okay.
Of course.
But
I recognize
this
it right
UI
away.
has problems. Like it's not entirely pleasant to look at. It's not entirely readable.
Yeah, I'm not loving the UI, but I can see, it's so hard to tell with just a small look at this, especially the intro.
Right.
Especially in a series, if we're gonna keep making the God Eater comparisons, which I think is okay since that's what they do, right? Those games get amazingly more fleshed out as you go on. Like I think the God Eater 3 tutorial is like 40 hours almost. Like you're constantly getting unlocks and new mechanics in that game for umpteen hours after you start. So it's interesting to see what will open up as you go further into this.
Yeah, and like I said, like I like the fact that this gets more skill based as you like early on in the game. The fact that I died to that boss already kind of made me happy because I didn't die in God Eater for dozens of hours.
Yeah, it can take a long time, and by that time you're ready to put it down since it gets very repetitive.
Right. But like, there's things here of like I didn't know what those numbers were at the bottom for most of this demo until like the end. I was like, oh, they're a numerator of my skill, like how much skill allotment I have.
Oliver Collins, my arch nemesis.
It's impressive how he's keeping that jacket on despite all these wings.
Yeah, so I see your partner has a health bar and a buff bar. I think that's what it is under him. Mm-hmm. I wonder what happens if he goes down before you do, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he does. Maybe that was what that revival thing was, as the partner picking you up. But it never actually explained. It doesn't explain the partners all that well. Mm-hmm. And like their main thing was, we're doing this because we think it makes for a better story. That like you're going to have characters in the game that come in and out, and like theoretically maybe they die or whatever. Like, but I'm kind of curious. Like, what is their gameplay balance for this? And I think makes some boss attacks kind of unfair, I guess. Because like the first time I died, it was an explosion that I did not see coming, and both characters died at the same time.
So I see you've got a health bar and a stand bar. Those are obvious in usage, but what's the bar above your stand bar?
I do not know.
Okay.
That is the thing I talked about, like with UI. It's like it
'Cause you
opens
just got, like, a
occasionally. It
thing,
seems to change when you're like
you're like blinking
dashing
now.
around.
I think you've got like some kind of charge up or heat up mechanic going on right now.
I believe it is focused, but they don't do a good job of explaining what that is.
Right.
But if you hold R1 and you like do certain attacks, they change up a little bit, and I believe they power up when you're focused.
Okay, very interesting. Ooh, boom.
Oh, rest in peace, Imran.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
Like that's what when I died, I was pretty happy about it because like, hey, that's the thing that does not happen in God Eater, but does happen all the time in Soul. So.
Sure.
Cool. Well, Code Vein is coming out this year, you said?
I believe it is this year. I believe they're going to get ready to announce a release date sometime soon.
Nice. On Xbox, PS4, and PC. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for watching New Gameplay today. It's our pleasure to bring you fun, unscripted looks at the game releases of the week and beyond. Subscribe on YouTube to get them delivered to your feed at no cost. New Gameplay today. It's for casual friends.